Yo, yo, yo! Welcome to Papaya Rhythms and Hustles, where we're gonna be talking a lot about the independent music scene, how to navigate this crazy industry. I'm your host, Gian Berselli. Welcome. Make yourself at home. This podcast is for you. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Gian Berselli. I always forget to change my name here. You know what? Let's just do this live. There, because I always log in as Papaya. So there you go. I'm also Papaya because, I do this full time and I love it. But welcome to Papaya Rhythms and Hustles. I'm here today. And dude, for the longest time, I was pronouncing your guys' band with like Lady with the White Hat. But that's because, I think that's because my Brazilian brain, and I am diagnosed the last year with dyslexia. So maybe that's part of it. Excuse. I sometimes just I don't read things thoroughly. So first of all, why don't introduce yourselves? What you do in the band, and tell us the right and real name of your band. I would love to hear that.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much for having us. We are Lady with the White Hat. I mean, Lady White Rat. My name's Luke. I'm guitar and vocals.
Chase, bass and backgrounds occasionally.
And I'm Ashton. I'm the drummer and sometimes vocalist. I try every now and then.
Dude, props to you. I was seeing the things on Instagram. I cannot drum and sing for shit. So I always appreciate a drummer that sings and plays. That's hard-carded. I really appreciate it. And tell me why the name of your band. Because yeah.
Always the first question.
Isn't it a beautiful name?
I love it.
There's a tingle in the right places.
Yeah, there's a ring to it.
Name, Mr. Ashtonian.
Well, we were all chilling in Luke's basement. This was before Chase here came along because I don't think he would have let this name slide. But yeah, we were with our, I guess, original bassist, and he was like, "Dude, there's this old cassette that people found at a garage sale,
VHS,
a VHS tape, and They put it in. It's like this grandma who animated her own weird stories that she told. And it's 3 hours long. And in there's a character named the Lady White Rat. And he was like, dude, that'd be a sick band name. We were like, yeah.
Because we're trying to come up with band names. And, we have a list and they all suck. Dude, coming up with a band name sucks. I don't know about you, but our favorite bands, look, you're wearing a Tool shirt, Tool. What the hell does that mean? What is Lady?
All the good names are already taken as well, right? When you look at it, I have a good name for a band. Then you go there's already one band with that name, right?
Right. We had to think about what exactly makes a good band name. Because most of the band names, if you take it and you don't make it a band, then it just sounds lame. I don't know.
That's
gonna name our group Tool. Let's name it Wrench. I don't know, corn. Yeah, I don't know.
With the K. And maybe let's flip the R there for some reason. Yeah,
right, exactly.
You can make anything work so long as your music is good. I think that's the bottom line.
I really like bands that you hear a name and you're like, all right, what the hell could this sound like? What the hell is a Lady White Rat?
Yeah.
And then they come up and hopefully you're impressed by the band. And hopefully we give off an impression. But I love
spark some curiosity too, right? I love that. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna try not to geek out too much because I always geek out too much. But my undergrad is in media studies and linguistics and all of that. But basically, there's a concept by this guy called Marshall McLuhan, which I love it, by the way. I recommend everyone. He's old school, so be patient. But he says something really interesting, which is the concept of what he calls cold and hot media. And basically one is the amount of information that media gives you, which then allows the person experience to either go inwards and fill up the blanks or not. Let me give you an example. For example, comic books, right? Comic books, you kind of have three little pictures, and you don't have anything in between the pictures, right? So basically your brain is kind of filling out the information, right? I love that concept because it really started making you think when I make music, for example, and I would love to hear, this is my next question, love to hear you guys' process, but when I make music and when I write lyrics, personally, I don't like to be in your face type of lyrics. I'm let's write about this thing, but I try to write as openly as possible because then you're kind of inviting the person to kind of maybe put their own story. Like maybe if you say, "Hey, today I woke up and I hurt my knee," like there's not a lot of room for interpretation there, right? But like today was a painful day, whatever it is. But you see what I'm saying? Like you kind of invite the person to kind of fill out the blank and kind of identify their own stories behind it, right? That's kind of at least my process, which I would love to hear you guys' process. I was listening to your music all morning today. That's a cool part of my work. I was like playing some video games and listening to you guys' album. I really love it. I want to dissect a little bit of some of those influences, but let's kind of dig into this songwriting aspect. How do you guys write music? Because this is something I would love for the listeners to kind of get inspired as well. Like, what do you guys' process to write music and lyrics? Like, tell me a little bit about it.
Honestly, it kind of is different for every song. Most of the songs on that record started as I was alone in my basement, sparked a riff, maybe come up with a chorus, maybe not a chorus. Some of them were more of a full song, and then bring them to the table with the guys, see what sticks, see what doesn't. And then other songs is all three of us, you plug in your instruments. First thing we do every time we play is we just jam for like 20 minutes. And we've had like 3 songs, Rebirth, one of the ones on our album. Mm-hmm. That was the first time all 3 of us jammed. And that was the first song that came out of that. So it depends on the song. There's 2 songs, Peel Away the Skin and They. I had like finished songs I did a solo album a couple of years ago, and me and Ashton started jamming, and I
was on that solo album.
Yeah. Ashton played drums on that. And so but it's sparked by a guitar riff. Mm-hmm. I would always say it starts with guitar.
Yeah, I definitely could tell that you paid a lot of attention to the riffs, because it's like, oh, this is a cool riff. Like I dig the riffs a lot. That's super cool. And what about lyrics wise? Like what are your guys' inspiration? I mean, I heard some of the tracks, but I kind of heard a little bit of everything there. So I would love to hear what are some of the bubbling themes in you guys' blood nowadays.
It's funny. It's a funny question. Lyrics always come last, at least for me when I do music. Obviously, you could probably tell none of us are vocalists. So vocals, it would always starts with the music for us. And then we come up with a melody, and then it's kind of lyrics. And for me, lyrics are the first thing that comes out when I initially hear the melody. Usually the melody comes in the form of words in my head. Mm-hmm. And I like to use that initial spark of words and see if I could use that. And then whatever I'm kind of feeling in that moment, if I'm pissed off or happy, or kind of put it into fruition. On the album, some songs I like to leave up to the interpreter, but some of them have no meaning, such as Drown really means nothing. Lady White Rat is this fictional story of the band. I just woke up one morning and wrote that. And then Peel Away the Skin and They are a little angry, political, societal, but a little. What about you, Ash?
Yeah,
when you're doing
lyrics,
I have yet to I guess I did. I wrote They, didn't I? Like the majority of it.
You should tell the story on that. To be honest,
I mean, yeah. So we had like lyrics all written out for They with a completely different like verse melody and stuff. And we went into the studio, and he's like, or the guy that recorded us, Mike Bardzik, shout out to that man. Yeah, I love that guy. Yeah. That guy's awesome. But yeah, he was like, man, I feel like there's something just missing. Like it doesn't really hit the mark. It sounds like a little bit like just unprofessional. And so we were like, dude, like, what do we do? Like, we got to go back to the drawing board. And so I just went home that night, and I just wrote out all of like the sort of lyrics that kind of referenced the original theme. And I remember I was basing them off of Sound and Color that I wrote. What's that song called?
Living Color.
Yeah, Living
Personality.
Dude, I'm so bad with names. But yeah, Cult of Personality. That was like one of the first things that came to my head. I was like, dude, that song is so sick. And so that was started the spark for the lyrics, and then I kind of just took it from there.
Your general process, though.
Yeah, and we rewrote like the melody over the verses, and yeah, just brought it in the next day and was like, whatever it was, it had to be, because we had one more day left or something.
We had one day,
limited time.
Yeah, I love those feelings. This is kind of, again, I try not to geek out, because I really like to geek out in this type of shit. But is this a family friendly podcast? I haven't haven't decided that. Maybe we could just beep if I cuss.
I'd already
Yeah.
soiled
Yeah,
that.
sorry.
I don't know. I haven't. I mean, we just beep it. Fuck it. We're it's part of being like in the scene. Come on.
Yeah, man.
So I mean, I just want to hear a little bit of you guys' if you resonate with this, because I've taught a lot of music production and songwriting and composition. I've seen two different types of writing. Like I can generally classify the people that kind of like have like stuff in their head. They're like more brainy about it. They kind of see like as a math equation type of thing. They do this. It's like more theory based. And then I see the jammers, which is like improvisation, which is honestly the team that I go for. I mean, again, I learned to respect both. I think they both have their unique qualities. But I am more when I teach. And again, I think you have to understand the student. But when I teach this kind of stuff, is for me, it's all about improv. Like I feel like improv is the heart of things. Is like it's kind of where you let your guard loose and you just play and just kind of like see where things kind of come out. Is this something you guys go as well? You say you guys jam and just kind of like go with it?
Yeah, basically.
One of the
We're
only-
all jammers at heart.
Jammers at heart.
We value
In our own ways.
spontaneity.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the
Okay,
best.
and then now the next question, because I was once a jammer too. I mean, still am, but I'm also getting a little old for that too. Because dude, age sucks. Don't get old if you can. It fucking sucks. But I used to just go and like go in a garage with my friends. Literally, it was so gross. Like when I was like fucking 14, 13, it was like a garage back in Brazil made of cement. The thing was like a freaking like sauna. It was like three like fat dudes. Literally there was like sweat dripping from the ceiling. That's how gross it got, right? And I played with this drummer. The dude was huge. Like we had no idea what volume meant. Everyone was just cranky to like 11. So, now like my ears don't really, handle it anymore. I cannot drink as much. So but all of that to say that there is something that happened in my life that, okay, now getting to the serious stuff, right? I want to go back a little bit more to you guys' influence, but maybe a little bit later. But now getting to more of the serious stuff. So there is something that happened to me when I moved to the United States, which was like, okay, I need to make this real. Like, I love this. I want to make this into reality. And I kind of, not saying that I had to kind of give that away or give that up, but there was some sort of like maturity that came along with like, okay, I need to make this more professional, right? And yeah, the jamming school, I still feel like that should be the essence of song. Let's just get together and jam. That's still how I do with my clients that I produce nowadays. But there was that turning point in my life. It was like, okay, it's time to make this serious, right? Like where you guys are at in this process, because I know you guys are investing a lot on your social media. You guys are putting a lot of love into that. You guys have an album. I heard from Vince that you think you guys are kind of like fresh out of college, maybe like a year or two, if I'm not mistaken. So like,
I just graduated. Ashton's still in college.
Yep.
nice. Congrats on the graduation, by the way. But what do you guys see that next few steps? Like, how do you guys see the future ahead in terms of the music industry? And it's like, okay, now it's time to get serious, right? What are some of your plans? Because I want the audience, especially people that are in the same phase as you guys, is to kind of hear what you guys are doing. Like, do you guys see yourself as a business? Do you guys have a business plan? Like, what is the future looking like for you guys?
It's a very good question. I thought what you said about the songwriting changing from jamming to being a little more structured professional. I think we're kind of amidst that transition currently.
Yeah.
Our first album was very much jam, put things together, like question the length of things a little bit, but we're really on this new batch of songs focused on kind of attention span of like, when are people going to shut out? When are they going to tune out? What can we do to not change things too frequent, but what can we also do to reintroduce new, themes or melodies? So we've kind of been changing our songwriting process a little bit more to have that more professional, organized sense. We've definitely, as of late, kind of been more of a business. Social media in the past 6 months.
It's been nice.
We've only been a band, us, for a year. We've only been playing live for like 8 months.
Yeah.
So we're still very fresh, and it's all happened pretty quick. But yeah, I mean, it's all social media, and it's all connectivity, like you're doing with the show.
Exactly.
It's whoever just is smart enough to message the right people is the ones that's going to get things out of it. we just had our song played on the radio right before this happened.
Right
Which is
before.
and it's like Philly's biggest rock station, like station I've grown up my whole life listening to.
Same here.
And it's always been a dream of mine, like
That's
have my
awesome.
own music.
Congrats. That fucking kick
And
ass. I
all
love
it took, I commented on one of the disc jockeys' Instagram posts.
Nice.
He had me tune in for a call a couple months ago, and I got his email, and we kind of went back and forth for a little bit. Didn't hear anything for a while,
months.
Yeah.
and then they
Just a
just
few
contacted
months.
us and like, "Hey, do you guys want to be the local shot of the month for February?" And it's like,
Hell yeah.
hell yeah! So it's
Out of
just
the
like,
blue.
who can you really contact that knows somebody?
Mhm.
Who, like you could play live at a million dive bars and hope that there's one guy in the audience that finds you, or you could do shit yourself and try to find that guy. And that's kind of what
find
we're
that
trying to,
guy.
you can't really predict who's going to be
No.
able, who's going to have interest in your dream.
I'm
But
getting a little goosebumps here. And again, I know I said this is not about papaya, but it is exactly what we're trying to do. Like,
man.
and that's the thing. Like what you said there is what took me at that time 9 to 10 years of my profession in this industry. Is like, oh my goodness, it is all about who you know, and it's not sometimes like nepotism or meritocracy or anything like that. Sometimes it's about like I just got lucky. And
Yeah.
that fucking sucks, to be honest, because being an immigrant myself, like I had to move all the way here to have some of those opportunities, right? And I feel like with technology, things are not where they're supposed to be or they could be in terms of the music industry, right? So let's say, like we can open up that door to more people have that kind of opportunity. Like, okay, maybe we can tell people, oh, maybe this is the guy you should be messaging to. Of course, that guy needs to also be working with us because he's going to get swamped, right? We also want to help him identify him or her or they, I don't know what else to say anymore. But we also want to help them identify like what is the right type of connection to do as well, because everyone wants to help this industry. I feel like everyone is really committed. Not everyone, but most people are committed, right? So then how you can help the other person on the other side of the equation to find the right people, right? Because can you imagine how many people that person had in like that tagged them or something like that, right? And you guys just happened to be the star had to align, right? You guys were in the right time, the right comment, also good, right? Because let's just be honest, you have to be good to at least start on this industry, right? So yeah, I really appreciate you sharing that. And this is really just kind of like a little bit of a I don't know, really good advice that these guys are giving you guys. Put yourself out there, right? Any other stories that you might want to share in terms of like networking, connection, some of the stuff you guys have been learning the hard way that you kind of wish someone told you, could spare you guys a few, months or years.
I just feel like it is unfortunate, but I think that luck does play a large
It really
factor
does.
in fact, it might be the biggest factor in all of this, because there's a lot of people that are great musicians that write great music and they just didn't find the right guitarist, or they just didn't find the right record, producer or whatever. And it is a lot of luck, but like you said, it's really just putting yourself in the position to get lucky in the first place.
Yep.
If you're sitting at home, that's time that you could be taking the gamble and like playing live somewhere, and like there might be someone at that show that knows a guy who knows a guy that can get you somewhere. And those connections are really like the foundation for making it,
Absolutely.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, guy. That's such a validation for me, because after doing a startup for a year, sometimes you kind of lose track of what you're doing. It's like, does this even make sense? So I really appreciate you guys kind of reassuring me in that sense, because it is all about that, right? Like one of the examples we always give, like with LinkedIn, for example, if you're moving to Spain, right? Like you could go on LinkedIn right now and apply for a job in Spain. You can start networking, or you can start messaging people, right? If you're a musician, you cannot do that. Like you feel like when I moved here, I moved with a backpack in my back and a guitar in my hands, and I knew shit. Like I didn't know anything, right? So my network starts from zero. And that's just tough. Like takes you years and years. It took me like 4 or 5 years to actually start getting inserted on the scene to be able to start, making connections and relevant, right? And I feel like that's kind of unfair too, right? Like if technology is there for a lot of people, why we cannot do this for our scene, right? So I really appreciate you sharing that. Would love to hear. I'm curious. I mean, this is a little bit kind of few steps back, but I want to talk a little bit about you guys' influences. So I think we're different generations. I'm 35. God, my wife always laughed. I'm 35. I'm 89. Correct.
Nice.
But I heard some stuff from you guys that's like, at least in my ears, I heard metal, but all the way to like there's some like maybe funkish influences. There's I heard some like cool dissonant-ish chords as well, which is not often in that kind of like metal. I mean, not to the type of extent that you guys did, but I also heard a little bit. Correct me if I'm wrong. Could be my own bias here, but like Midwest emo sound as well, like back from the early 2000s with like some of those like light, nice, clean guitars. Am I in the ballpark? Tell me a little bit about your guys' influence. I would love to hear a little bit about you guys are musicianly.
Yes.
Let's go with yours first.
So, I mean, we kind of all love the same music, but we all have a separate thing that we're super invested in.
Very strange.
So, like you said, like my background has always been like classic metal, like, you know, like 80s, not early 90s, late 70s, just guitar riffs and like, you know, anything from Iron Maiden, Sabbath, Priest, Megadeth, all the way up to, you know, like Pantera and Avenged Sevenfold being like the latest. Cool. Chase.
Funk. It's just straight funk. Like I love all types of music. Like what got me into music first was metal, like Slipknot, you know, Lamb of God, Gojira, you know, Metallica, System of a Down. Did I said Slipknot, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yes, I did. Okay. Yeah, and that's what got me into music first. And then when I started playing bass, I was like going through a funk phase, and that's kind of what my basis of playing is. Yeah. Like totally. And I didn't really start playing. I was never good at metal. The only time like I started playing metal was when I was with these guys. And then that really changed. And now I feel like I serve a purpose in this band because of just pushing myself to play metal more because I love it so much. Like, how could I not? You know what I mean? And,
yeah.
It's mostly most of my influences playing wise come from funk, but like I said, I love metal through and through. And I'm excited to see where it takes us. Ash, what are your influences?
Yeah, for me, I like started in a weird spot, but eventually I found Avenged Sevenfold when I started getting back into drums. And that, I mean, the rev just blew me away, and that really pushed me to start learning drums. And that drove me into Slipknot, which then, like, after being in metal for a while, I started going into Zeppelin and more of like these sort of 70s bands, you know, Floyd. And I started finding a lot of different really neat things in the 70s and sort of 90s era where we've now found some overlap in like Tool and System of a Down and stuff like that. But Rush was a huge influence for me. Rush and like I don't even know. There's so many. I know that Porcupine Tree is one that I found a couple of years ago, and ever since then, Gavin Harrison's been like the drummer that I've like aspired to be like.
It's super cool. It's almost like you guys each have your own like preferences, which is of course makes sense because of the instruments you play, right? Mm-hmm. Like a funk and as a bass player, like, you know, it's just like one of the coolest things to play as a bass player, right? The metal glamour rock with as a guitar, of course, right? The Bohem and Led Zeppelin and all of those Rush, of course. And then you kind of guys got all this like separate stuff by your own instruments, but you kind of unite through the love of metal and stuff like that.
And funny enough, we all went to the same college, Kutztown University, and Chase and I actually met in jazz band. So we're both rock players that were asked to be in this really good jazz band, too good for us to be in without knowing anything about jazz.
Whiplash style? Not like that.
Oh, dude, exactly.
Like hardcore jazz band. I don't read music, and it's just like
none of us read music. Literally none of us.
But we're forced.
I barely do, and I write for artists.
Right? Like we can do it, but it's like once you do it once, it's in your head, and then you stop looking. At the
you learn it, but like, let's be honest. Like, I mean, sure, it serves a purpose, right? But like with media nowadays, like I feel like things are really changing, right? But anyway, I diverge a little bit. That's super cool. I do share some love with metal as well, but you guys are saying about like the 90s. That's the era I grew up in. I'm actually just releasing a Deftones cover. It's very raw. I'm trying to kind of. I would love to hear you guys' take on this as well. I'm trying to trying as a millennial, try to get into TikTok, and like I was getting into some of the stuff. Those things are so fake and so overproduced and over the top. I was like, oh my goodness, like I want to like deliver raw stuff. So like I'm singing some parts out of tune. Like I get like the puberty like little falls in the middle of, and I don't give a shit. Like I'm not editing. Of course I record it well and I mix it and stuff like that. But I'm a little oversaturated and I'm trying to release some stuff that are it's a little less, you know, like over the top produced. What are you guys feeling in that? I feel like there might be a little bit of a generational gap, but like, are you guys experiencing any of this? Like, what are you guys' take on this? Like, do you guys want to deliver more rawness? Are you guys okay? No, let's like be like crystal clear, perfect, and just like get everything kind of nice and pristine.
We're definitely on the more raw side. Like when we went into the album, when we recorded our album, it was just guitar, bass, and drums in one room. We just recorded it and tried to.
Yeah.
We just obviously did vocal overdubs and solos, but the live take was the live take.
Nice.
And the initial finished mix we got back was more overproduced than we were expecting
wanted.
And we got in touch with the engineer and we're like, hey man, like it sounds really good, but it's not exactly the sound and direction that we're wanting to head. And he's like, dude, no worries, I totally get that. It's hard to understand what a band wants. How about this? And then it was pretty much the room sound, just with, you know, a little bit of compression, saturation. And so we definitely more favor the raw side.
Yeah, I know for me, it's a very like, I favor the raw energy, but a very like, I'm a big perfectionist. So like for me, if the tone isn't quite there, or you know, if this just sounds a little off, then it's got to be changed, you know. But definitely when it comes down to like the take itself and just playing the music, I think we try to capture as much raw energy, you know, as we would live, you know, on the record.
And I noticed that. I feel like that's kind of like maybe why I resonated with you guys' music. I was listening to this morning. I was like, because I do this before the podcast, and I was like, and there was a one place like, whoa, let me turn it up. Like it captured me, right? Like I wasn't just like zoning out, listening, preparing for the podcast. Like there was something there that captured me, right? Like of course the quality, you guys are all great musicians and all of that, but there's something very honest about it that I at least really appreciated. So I'm glad that you guys are saying it, because that was my feeling. As I was like, wow, this feels like really nice, but it also is really good. Like I don't see mistakes or anything, right? It's really, really well performed. You can tell you guys are pros, and like you really, you know, I have my mistakes, man, but I'm still releasing it. But I appreciate that. I feel like there's definitely something to be said about that. I mean, I don't know if it's a trend or not, but I appreciate that on you guys for sure. I have one curiosity question. Maybe the foreigner in me wants to know this. So I grew up, as I told you guys in the beginning, in Brazil. I moved here when I was 23. And I listened to a lot of music from Philly, and I was like, now that I've never met anyone except Vince, but we never had the chance to talk. Like, what is it like? Like, what is the scene like? Because it's always captured me, and it seems like it's very rich of a scene for music. So can you guys enlighten me a little bit? How is the scene there, and like what is it like to be around there?
For Philly, you said?
Yeah, for I mean all the regions around where you guys are at. Yeah.
It's really full, actually. It's very vibrant. There's a lot of punk and emo bands, actually. Like that's, believe it or not, like the most common bands are punk and emo. That from what we see, and like a lot of people are into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, metalcore as well, but more just like punky and emo is having a big resurgence right now. Not too many bands are breaking out of the scene. Obviously, I mean, we got tons of work to do before we get to that, but there's so many awesome bands, but it seems like there's not really a threshold. Nobody's really reached the threshold to get over, you know, like there's a lot of bands doing the same thing, but nobody's really taken off into a career. It's just, you know, still like your cool dive bars and your clubs. But other than that, it's kind of just stays at that.
Yeah. What do you guys see the future of rock music? I would love to hear a little bit about that, especially being from a different generation. What do you guys see as the future? Like, are the kids listening to this? I mean, I'm sure there's always an audience, right? But like, what are you guys experiencing since you guys are in, you know, like in really in the midst of everything right now, the eye of the hurricane?
I think one thing that I've learned is that I'm part of the audience, and everyone that I've surrounded myself with have all liked the same music. So I know that there is a taste in it, going forward. But I think that a lot of like these legendary bands are starting to run out of steam, in their live production. And I'm really hoping that maybe that might open up the gates to new acts that can, come forth, and then there might be a big resurgence in rock. Because there's too much money to be made here in the rock industry to just let it all go to waste, Yeah. So that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that they'll find and cultivate a much larger audience than even like I would have ever expected to be into rock again, and maybe we'll see a resurgence of it. That's my hope, at least.
I think the music industry is like in the midst of a really major change over like the next decade. I think it's slowly going to revert back to being more raw, because at least for our generation, anything that's been popular has just been so overly produced, and everything is just so perfect that there's no life to it.
Yeah.
And I think for the first time, kids or like our age or a little bit younger are starting to see that, even if they're not into music. Like I think some people are like through TikTok and shit are like seeing like what a club looks like, what a dive bar looks like, because, kids don't go to see shows anymore. That's the tough thing, is nobody goes to shows unless you're into music.
Yeah.
And I think through TikTok and stuff, kids are seeing like, oh shit, like what's this graffitied, stickered up, stinky venue with this band, like it looks terrible, but I bet it'd be pretty fun.
Yeah.
And like, I think I'm seeing a big resurgence of like 90s, like grunge. And you mentioned Deftones, like Deftones in the past 2 years, just because of TikTok, have like had a whole resurgence, which is funny because
a lot of bands like that.
Like kids are back into like Deftones and like Limp Bizkit and like early 2000s stuff like that has really had a big resurgence.
I have a theory on that. I don't know if I'm right, but my theory is like music kind of, in my mind, kind of have this resurgence. I think it's because the kids are listening to what the parents used to listen to. So it's like my generation and a little bit between maybe 28 until to 40 something is the generation that are having kids, and like the kids are now 10, 15, and they're probably listening to what the parents are listening to. So you kind of see those like 20, 25-year-old or a year cycle. I don't know if that's correct, but it seems like a lot of my friends are they have kids, and the kids are like 10, 12 nowadays, and it's like, oh yeah, they're listening to all the stuff that we used to listen to, right? So that's cool. I mean, I hope you guys are right. I mean, I don't want to be, like nostalgic or anything. Like, if there's anything I learned also from my undergrad being nerd is that, things are they always have this natural evolvence. It's kind of up to us to make the best out of it. A lot of people are bashing on AI, and yeah, AI sucks for so many reasons, but like, I think it can democratize, access to music creation. Like everyone said music is over when sampling came out, and then you have the birth of hip hop, right? Like it's like I think empowering people first. Of course it sucks in so many ways, and there's so many like fake and but I think over time you kind of just get tired of it, and it's like fuck it, let's go back to real, right? That's at least my take on it. And what are you guys' take on all of this stuff? Because I'm building an AI company because we are backed by data, but we are using AI to use data and digest data. So I always say like, oh yeah, musicians always a little bit skeptical about AI, but at the same time, I feel like there's good use for it, right? I don't want to use for creation, but I want to use in our favor, right? So what are you guys' take on it? Like, have you guys dabbled with anything like that yet, or not so far?
I mean, not really. I've definitely used AI for other things, like not ever musically, I guess, in that way. But I mean, I think it's an incredibly useful tool for, learning, and it's about to replace search engines, I think. It's like
I just got ChatGPT a week ago because I've just been like, I'm always like against trends. And my girlfriend's like, dude, I know it's a fucking trend, but just get it. It's just going to make things so much easier.
Yeah.
And I just really use my voice, ask it a question, and it gives me like an answer that is so much better than what Google would have came with.
Exactly.
And
it's like an actual human.
It's going to replace
It's freaking weird. It is really weird.
It's almost like a layer on top of, right? I feel like the internet because Google just became so messy. It used to be like, especially I grew up, I saw this. Like I remember when my dad like, oh, we got the internet now. Like I saw this, right? And then I remember we used to go to Yahoo and all these. So I saw it used to be so nice, and over the years just gets so messy and so trashy. You just feel like, oh, it's just getting weird because it's just getting so polluted. Right now, you put a layer on top of it, which is GPT, which is basically trained by all of that other layer, right? And again, that's part of the philosophy here. Is like I always believe that the internet is one of the biggest revolutions in our history as far as communications, because it is the first time that instead of having few distributing information to many, now we're having the people being able to have a voice, right? But you also generate a backlash with that. Yes, a lot of people have a voice. We're seeing like, independent artists and all that, but the backlash is that, you don't know what's true anymore, right? Back in the day, you have this like paterfamilias, like, white guy say, hey, this is what's happening in the world. So everyone just believed that. And now it's like, everyone's saying, no, but this. It's like, oh, what the hell is true, right? But I really believe that filters are really a big thing, right? That's why, again, we're creating Papaya, because there's a lot of data nowadays, which I think is really cool, but the data is messy, right? So let's organize it and use it in our favor type of thing, right? Anyway, I know I said I tend to get geeky, guys. I apologize.
Super cool to hear the insight.
For real.
Guys, again, lovely talk. Do you guys have any final insights? Anything you guys want to bring up? Any shout outs, upcoming concerts? Keep in mind that this might be released, March, April, but what is the plan for the next 6 months? New music, new album. Let us know. Really would love to hear from you guys.
Yeah, I mean, our record just came out a month ago, so right now we're in the writing grind. We got a bunch of new songs ready. We're gonna record this summer, but if you're watching this, whoever you may be, it's probably us three. But please check out our record. It's just Lady White Rat, and check out Papaya. I'm gonna do a deep dive tomorrow after this and follow you guys on everything, and because I'm super into what you guys are doing. So
Exactly.
Yeah, respect to you for doing this on your own, dude. This is super cool.
Thanks. Yeah, man. It's on my own, but not like I already have a lot of people that I care dearly. Everyone is doing it out of passion, which is amazing. It just humbles me, But everyone believes in the mission, right? It's just like, fuck this. Like, this is literally the mission. Like, fuck the old. Let's do something about it. I don't know if it's the right thing to do, but let's try to do something, right? Better than just be complaining and whining. Any tours or anything? And what do you guys, as far as like live music?
We're no tours yet, but hopefully very soon.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be able to help you guys find some stuff as well. It's part of what we're here for, right? We're grabbing venue data, we're grabbing tour managers, PR agents, so maybe we can help you guys find we have a lot of data on East Coast, especially Bay Area, but with Vince there, maybe now connecting with you guys, hopefully we can start branching out to the East Coast as well. So
man.
Yeah. Super cool. Any final shout outs? Anything else?
I mean,
follow Lady White Rat, follow Papaya.
Listen to the album.
Yeah, man.
It's really good, guys. By the way, I listened to the entire thing this morning and it was really cool. I really appreciate you guys, what you guys are doing. Super fun.
Thanks a lot, dude. We really appreciate it.
Quick thing, dude. Please, whenever you guys are releasing music videos, get that lady and her animation or something like that. It sounds so LSD or so trippy. Like, I would love to see that original VHS, and like maybe you guys put your music into it. I just felt like such a cool story. I would love to see that.
My thought months ago. We definitely have to do that.
Yeah,
they agreed with me. It was months ago when we talked about it, and they showed me the video for it. It's on YouTube, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah,
I don't even think I've seen it. I think I saw a minute of it.
You probably did.
So I got to watch it again myself.
Yeah.
But that's a great idea.
It's definitely creepy.
All right, Lady White Rat. Now I said it right. Thank you all. It was a pleasure talking to you guys. Hopefully we'll see each other in person soon, and peace.
Yeah.
See you, man.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you very much, bro.
What's up, everyone? Thank you so much for listening to one more episode of our podcast. Dude, these guys are so much fun. I love their energy. I love how active they are. They are really hustling and grinding it out. It's a pleasure. I hope you guys learned a lot from their experience. It's really cool and fresh to see, the scene, how it's developing. So thank you. And I see you guys in the next episode. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you. Ciao. Bye-bye.